So this is our sequel video here. What would you do to separate the variables for number 8? How would you move the y over? Divide by y. Now, let me just do a quick compare and contrast. You know how in this one, when I moved it over, it was y to the 4th, so I wrote y to the negative 4th? You want to do that if there's any kind of exponent there, but do you see how this is just y by itself? When that's the case, you want to just divide it over and write 1 over y, and this is how come. What's your antiderivative for 1 over y? The ln of y. Okay, but if it's squared or cubed or to the 4th or anything else, it doesn't follow that path. All right, equals, and then what's on the other side? X squared, good, and then you would multiply over the dx. Perfect. All right, then, so that is separating, then your antiderivative, so it's ln absolute value y equals, and then your antiderivative for x squared, 1/3 x cubed plus c. Now for this one, I'm gonna write out every last little step so you can understand where stuff comes from. I'm gonna do this again in number 9, and I'll show you how you can kind of skip some of it, but I want you to understand what's going on. Is there an initial condition? No, so we are getting the general solution. C stays in there. It's an infinite number of answers. Just want to get y by itself. So how do you cancel out ln? E. Okay, so it's going to be absolute value of y equals e to the power of all of that stuff. Now you can separate that into e to the 1/3 x cubed times e to the c. And the reason why is when you multiply, you add your exponents. I just did that backwards and I separated it into 2 different parts. Like, you see that and let that sink in? Did you see what I did there? Now here's the thing. E is a number. Do you remember about how much?
2 point something.
If you know it's 2 point something, I am so thrilled. 2.718 is, but if you know it's 2 point something, I'm thrilled, all right? E is a number. C is also a number. It's just a value. So what we do is we take that and put it out front as one great big constant. So it ends up looking like this. I'm going to do a little foreshadowing for something we're going to do later this unit. Do you remember in pre-calculus doing the PERT formula, P-E to the power RT with the interest rates? It's that, okay? And then here's your last step. When it's the in general one, you get the infinite number of solutions. So to get rid of the absolute value, you put plus and minus. Because an absolute value is a distance from 0, and you could go to the left or go to the right. So that's why you get the plus minus. Now, again, I wrote out every last little thing there to explain it to you. I'm going to show you how you can do that and skip a good bunch of that, as long as you understand it, okay? So what would you do to separate them for number 9? Divide by y, good. So 1 over y dy equals, and then what's still on the other side? Yep, 4x cubed dx. Good, it sounds like you guys are still with me here. Antiderivative, ln y, good, equals plus c. Perfect. So it is going to be y equals, I'm going to skip it all. We're going to jump straight to the answer. Plus and minus c e to the power x to the 4th. There, as long as you understand why it comes from, where it comes from, you don't have to write out all those steps. You can jump to it. And it's the PERT formula. Now, what's the only difference with this last one? Because it's going to be really similar to those two. It has the initial condition. All right, so divide over the y and then multiply over the dx. So that's going to give you ln y, absolute value of y. Sorry, I can't write. Equals, what would be your antiderivative for 2x squared? 2/3.
Oh.
X to the 3rd plus c. And then you plug in your initial condition. I didn't say this before, but always plug it in right away. Don't start doing any algebra or maneuvering anything. Plug it in right away. We're going to plug in 0 for x, which is nice because all that stuff just goes away. 3 for y. Now you can drop the absolute value because the absolute value of 3 is 3. Once it's a number, you can drop that. Yeah, perfect. That is, yeah, ln of 3 is a number, whatever that is. We're going to go back and recopy this step, like literally just copy it, except instead of plus c, you're going to write plus ln 3. Now, when you write this answer, you won't put plus and minus. It's the same idea with the square root. You're going to make a decision. Do you want the plus? Why is it the plus? Because that's correct. Positive output value. It goes by the y value. It's whatever your output is. That's positive. Now, what happens? This is what you would pull out front. But what happens to e and ln? Good. So it would just be 3 e to the power 2/3 x cubed, because e and ln cancel.